name is Juice.
And I'm Antoine Miller.
We got another episode for you. The question is, what if, two different sides of it though, what if your husband doesn't want kids or your boyfriend doesn't want kids? Hopefully y'all had that conversation, but if you didn't, what would you do in that situation? Well, I got a story. Once upon a time, I was not dating this lady yet, but me and her was having a conversation. And she asked me, hey, do you want kids? And I told her, yes, I do want to have kids. I already have one. I like to have some more. She asked me how many more. I said, I don't know. That depends on the person who I'm with. And she told me right then and there that I do not want to have kids. I'm like, oh, okay. Because at that time she had 2 kids already. But those 2 kids was pretty much graduating high school, about to ready to get out the house. And she had them pretty young. And she just didn't want any more. And she told me, this is what you can do. She said, maybe you go out there and have a kid, then come back to me and we can raise that kid together.
Really?
And yeah. She told me that. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want that situation. I kind of want to stay the person I have a kid with, but okay, at least she's forward thinking.
Yeah, being honest, yeah.
Yeah, she's being honest. So, but like I said, me and her was talking and stuff like that. We still conversate, but she wanted me to go out there and just find out if I wanted to be with somebody else or what could it be. And then after going through the dating scene, like I said, me and her was still talking in the background, but nothing ever manifested at that particular time.
Yeah.
And I was still dating. And she came back, like answered the question, say, so how your search going? And by this time, it's like maybe 3 months passed by, 4 months passed by, and I'm like, I have no candidates yet, somebody who I want to date or be with and stuff like that. And then she said, well, I'm gonna give you some more time. But with that time, maybe would you consider adopting? And I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't want to say it this way. I wasn't into adopting.
Yeah.
Like, I already have my own. I don't have none at all and stuff. So a couple more months passed by. Like I said, me and her still talking in the background. We not moving forward, nothing like that. We just chilling and stuff like that. And then she came back to me again and say, so, because I think she was out in the dating market too and couldn't find nothing either. And at the time, I couldn't find nothing either. But I just told her, I said, listen, I appreciate you giving me the advice and still thinking about it and even consider, not considering having kids, but still wouldn't have a problem if I was to have a kid. I just wouldn't feel comfortable having a kid and try to go through the whole thing of trying to have full custody, because the point is I wanted to be with the kid within the same household and stuff like that. So after that, we, like I said, had a conversation. I told her I appreciate that, but we let our friendship kind of die down in a way and stuff where that we wasn't talking as frequently as we was. And after that, maybe 2 years later, 3 months later, she wound up getting married and stuff like that. So everything wound up working out and stuff. And only how I found that out because I was running the marathon and she was running the marathon. I didn't know she was running the marathon. And just so happened that her husband, I knew him. And then when I saw him and I saw her, I'm like, oh, snap, y'all together. So well, that was cool. But, I didn't know. But yeah. I used to work with him and stuff. It was just cool that seeing them together. Man. Yeah, it is a small world. But at that time when I saw her, I also was dating somebody at the time too and stuff. So it kind of all worked out and stuff like that. But I was appreciative that she was still looking at that as an option or even having that as a thought compared to, because I ain't gonna lie. When she told me she didn't want to have kids, it was kind of, I don't know if I want to do this.
Kind of hit you?
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. And the crazy thing is, the dating market was the dating world wasn't as bad as it is now. But even during that particular time, I was like, I was starting to consider if she's a good woman, man, maybe I don't need to have kids.
So your option was not to have kids versus actually going out there and then having kids and then coming back.
Yeah, pretty much. But I wasn't going to go out and have kids and come back and try to be with her. Nah, it was just going to be all or nothing, because it's one of them things where she seemed like a good woman. But like I said, me and her didn't date. We think we went on like one date. I believe we went on one date, but we just talked on the phone in the background and stuff like that. So it wasn't nothing like, like, because like I said, once we established that I wanted kids and she didn't want to have kids, it's like I didn't want to move forward. I didn't want
So,
to get to know her even more, but I still did, but not in the level that I wanted to because I was just like shaking surfaces yet.
so what does her being a good woman and you carrying on your legacy, like what's the relationship there?
Well,
What's the
a good
connection?
woman's hard to find, man.
I get that. I know that. But what is the connection between your legacy and her being a good woman?
There's
Are you,
none.
are you trying to say that she is a good woman who is giving you permission to go sow your seed, but you're willing to give past, present, and future up for her?
At that time, I was willing to, but like I say, I just had to search a little bit harder. Because after I thought about it, I'm like, nah, I really want to have another kid. Because it did cross my mind. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do this. So,
Y'all give me hell for this arranged marriage stuff. But every time we have these conversations, man, y'all prove my point and why it's needed. you know, because such a
well,
decision in such a decision like that with limited information, but to make that decision, that choice based on the limited information she gave you to that point is crazy.
yeah, yeah. But like I said, we were talking in the background. Just I didn't want it to manifest to anything else and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, she was cool. She was easy to talk to. It's just, man, when you find somebody like that, it's kind of hard to try to let that go, man.
I know.
So,
I'm with you, cuz I'm with you. That's why we need someone else from the outside really saying, "Are you sure?" You know
mm.
what I mean? Are you sure? That's the road you want to go down.
But here's the thing about the outside person, though. If I say it this way, we all got friends, and when friends start dating somebody else, what it could be, we try to get them advice or what it would be, or when you meet the person, be like, oh, so what you think on the first meet? It's kind of hard to judge a book by its cover, just like that, you know. And that person who spending time with a person got the most information, but the problem is they don't know how to translate that information when it comes to telling the other friends and all that kind of stuff like that because they miss the small details, but always wouldn't tell the big details. And the problem with I think with arranged marriages, because I'm starting to believe in a way with coming to arranged marriage, but the problem I think with arranged marriages is that you can get to know the family, but knowing your son for who he is and knowing him in a relationship is different. And the same thing with the girl too. It's different.
I can see that because as a parent, let's go with the parent part of it, right?
All right.
Or let's assume the parent is giving the advice on choosing a partner. Uh, some of it is going to be how you are, how their kid is as from a parent perspective, but some of it is also going to be how that parent, what type of relationship that parent wants you to be in also. and part of it is the plans that that parent have for you and I was going to say your vision, but their vision of you.
Mm.
Because a lot of times when families are in arranged marriages, the father has a plan for the future. Otherwise it's just like no one cares. Just like, yeah, get married because you love someone, and then find a good job or be successful. That's it. There's no group working as one mentality.
But here's the thing: your concept is correct if both fathers operate in the same
Absolutely.
household order.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you got two different households operating differently, like for a strong, independent woman, you got that situation. Don't matter to me. Don't matter if that woman is raising a son or a female compared to a two-parent household where the male is the head of the household.
You're right.
You see what I'm
But
saying?
yeah, no, you're right. But when you're going for change, like minds have to connect first
Yes.
before unlike minds. So me as a parent, I'm not going to go look for someone else who does not believe in arranged marriages. I'm going to look for someone who does, like another family who does. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, within our community, that's going to be very, very hard and rare to find. But it's like minds is going to form that change or make that change.
Mm. So what you're saying? You're gonna go all the way back to the motherland and find one?
Not the motherland, but the fatherland.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what motherland you're talking about, but I do know of a fatherland.
Got it. Got it. So, based, so off the question, as for dating somebody and doesn't want kids,
Well, so yeah,
what's from
so
that perspective?
yeah, so back to that question. So from the perspective of dating, not married yet, I would say the man have to think about his legacy and having a full understanding that if you do not reproduce something in this earth now, when you die forever, right? Versus leaving something behind that can continue where you left off, or they can start a foundation and build something that you never did or you never started or planned on building, right? So, and he is at a point whereby he has not secured anything yet, right? They're not married yet, they're still dating. So to figure that part out and says, okay, I don't want to force you to do anything, I don't want you to force me to do anything I don't want to do. So if this is like a red line for both of us, then let's call it quits.
So, how far in a relationship should it come to that point where, like a year in, oh, now let me say it this way: a year in, seeing each other every other day is different than a year in seeing each other once a
Yeah.
week.
I mean, as you're talking, you're getting to know each other. Uh, do you want kids? Is a common question. That might come up in the first month of meeting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you might get an answer of yes, or you might get an answer of on unsure, uncertainty, or you might get an answer of no. And then if that's something you still want to pursue moving forward.
But what about uncertainty? How long do you keep going with uncertainty to the point where you'd be like, well, I don't want to commit no farther with the word uncertainty, and then
Yeah.
at the same time, you're like, all right, well, I don't want to lose this guy, so I'd rather say yes at this moment, or other way, no, just to keep the relationship, even though I don't want to do vice versa, regardless of the situation.
Well, as from the man's perspective, it should be before you ask her to marry you, and from her perspective, it should be before you said yes or no.
But I'm
You know,
saying, so what if she say yes that I want to have kids? That's because you want to have kids and you marry her, but in reality, she don't want to have kids, or like I say, vice versa.
well, in my scenario, she is answering from what's best for her, or what she thinks is best for her. I
Ah,
don't know. I don't want to say think of what she knows is best for her. So if she says for her future, for her plans, she does not want to have kids, then as the man, you've got to respect that and not try to force it. Because if you try to force it, she'll only say yes because you want to hear yes. And it's going to be an issue once you get married. And once that act of trying to have a kid comes up, it's going to be an issue. And it could be to the extent that, you can throw everything away. So you can spend 5 years in a marriage only to come around to say, well, she doesn't actually want to have kids. And then you guys got to get a divorce.
hmm.
So for me, the way I look at it, it is a crucial point, and it is a key determining factor on if the individual's getting married or not based on the kids. But that's my perspective. That's how I see it.
Hmm. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. But
And of
shit.
course, if you're in the marriage, so if you got into the marriage of yes, I want to have kids, and then there was a change, then you've got to deal with that. I mean,
Chain break homes.
yeah, exactly. So whether you
Chains.
want to go and do something behind her back, which I would not be in agreement with, I disagree with that approach. Or you say, hey, this is something you said you wanted. Now you're changing my mind, but I have not changed my mind. So what are we going to do? Either we get a divorce and go our separate ways, or you open that door, even if it's, you know, some type of lab. I forgot the term they call it, where there's no activity, but you can still donate your stuff and then get a kid from that.
Yeah, you gotta look that up eventually.
Yeah, I forgot. Like women will typically use that process when they're having a hard time getting pregnant the natural way.
Okay, 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 okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you know
Okay.
what I'm talking about. It's just it can't come to
Yeah.
your yeah,
Yeah. I'm not gonna bullshit it myself. But yeah.
yeah. but
Yeah.
but yeah, So for me, that would be my option. Either we figure out a way, but then you got to answer your question though. If she says you can go get a kid your own way, but I'll still be here, then the question will be, why is she so against having a kid with you? Is it that connection, that long-term connection she doesn't want with you? You know, to where if it gets down the road and she's like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, she can make a clean cut with no
That is
connection.
true. That is
You
true.
know what I mean? So
I
you
didn't
also
think
got to
about
think
that.
about that too.
I didn't think about that. But at the same time, it's kind of why would she bring it? Because she the one brought up adoption. And now if we do adoption, both of us tied to that.
Uh yeah, you're tied to it legally to a point though. I mean, once the kid gets to 18, what's your
Yeah,
if
but
one
she
person
didn't.
wants to leave, what do you do then? How does that work?
Yeah, but she didn't mind adopting a baby. So like I said, but she bought that up. That was surprising. But I think I don't know because maybe she was at the age where she didn't want to have kids because she wasn't. I think she was maybe 38 at that time, 39. Like I said, I don't quite remember and stuff. I just know she had her kids like young, like when she was in her 20s,
So
20,
she already
21.
had kids.
Yeah, she had 2 kids. She had twins and stuff. And like I said, uh, she's at a part of her career where she was done with kids. She also was a former military. She did all that plug and all that kind of stuff like that. So at this point, her kids just had 1 year left to go in high school, and then she was just like scot free. So, like I say, I didn't really dive into. At least I don't remember diving into that much, especially when she brought up her adoption thing. At that time, I would say I was thinking about being selfish, as in like, nah, like you said, I want my own legacy. I want a family structure. I
But
want
that's
to
not
go through
selfish.
that process. Huh?
That's not selfish because
Yeah,
she's already got her stuff locked down.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know
So
what? I can understand that from that unique situation. I can get at her age, at her experience, why she doesn't want to have any more kids.
Because you're pretty much
Because
starting all over at that moment.
yeah, exactly. You know, what a lot of women fear is when you have multiple kids by multiple men, it's how are each man going to view your kids by other men?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something we kind of talked about last week, last episode, is some men tend to have a negative view of those kids, especially if they don't get away with the kid's father or get along with the kid's father.
Yeah.
You know, so in that situation with her, it can be that, or it can be she doesn't want to have a tall baby. You know,
No, I think the other part is that she had a stage in her life where she just want to travel, man. She just want to travel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
So
at that age. She's already had kids. She doesn't want
yeah,
to start over and have some.
because
Like,
I think currently right now, last time I checked, I think she's staying in Hawaii now. Her husband's staying in Hawaii.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, shoot, they enjoying the world. She got like 3 or 4 different businesses and stuff like that. So yeah, man, you know. But yeah, but please.
For the individuals who don't have any kids and don't want kids, that is fine for their choice. But
Yeah.
I think as a man, you have an obligation to your past or your future. And in my opinion, no woman is great enough to give that up. To give up all of your to say screw you to your ancestors and screw you to your what could be future generation.
That is true too.
Before you're gonna go say, well, something to the effect of you're never gonna have to answer to them. You don't know what the other side entails.
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
You remember Wakanda? Remember he used to go visit them? T'Challa used to go visit them. You know what I mean? You would have to go explain to them why you gave everything up because this woman is just so damn great.
What I was about to say, what if you get a woman, you want them having a kid, and she said, I'm taking this legacy with me, I'm gonna raise them in my vision. You're like, wait, that's not what my plan was.
Wait a minute.
You need to roll that back. That's not the plan. At that point,
rewind that.
At the point you like, one of them need to go and it ain't gonna be me.
Oh man.
You know, something gotta happen.
Something's gotta give here, but this ain't happening.
Well, people, YouTube, if you like this conversation, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll get back to you. Thanks. I'll let you later.